Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, April 15th, 2019. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Destination SVG continues to attract attention from many visitors, and the SVG Tourism Authority is looking forward to an increase in arrivals by air from the U.S. this year. Over the weekend, news broke that Caribbean Airlines will be commencing a summer non-stop flight service between the AIA and JFK in New York. The flight will be on Saturdays beginning in June, and booking will be available from this month. Chief Executive Officer of the SVG Tourism Authority, Glen Beache, said they are looking forward to increase the numbers of visitor arrivals by air this year.
I think it starts somewhere around the 29th of June and goes until the end of August. This was done last year also, because we know a lot of people travel during the summer vacation. Carnival is our biggest festival, does bring in the most people out of any festivals in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the destination. So in order to focus on that, or I should not say focus, but to really have the direct flights coming in for that time of year was very important. Last year, the load factor, I think, for the summer was something like 98%, and we're hoping it's that good. It's hard to improve on that. I mean, but we could improve on it by 2%, and we're hoping that it's that good this year also. Mind you, last year we also did not have, in the summertime, we did not have the American Airlines flight on Saturdays out of Miami. So we're trying to ramp up in terms of the number of flights we have coming in a week. And we're about breaking even so far for this year. The load factor on the flights, they have been good so far, so we continue to hope for the best and work towards making sure that everybody knows there's a destination by the name of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean they've been looking for.
Speaking in relation to other airlines coming out of the U.S., Beache said the grounding of the MAX 8 aircraft has reduced the availability of planes to service some routes, including SVG. However, he remains optimistic something can be worked out.
Well, as I said, you have American Airlines coming in out of Miami on Saturdays. That's it. At the end of April, Air Canada Rouge will stop 2 flights weekly and return to 1 flight weekly. We were trying to get them to get 2 flights in per week for the summer, because out of Canada will also be very busy. They are unable to do it. And one of the things I think people need to understand is with the grounding of the MAX 8, MAX 800, you have a lot of airlines that now have shortage of planes to fulfill all their requirements. So we're trying to get Air Canada Rouge to do that. They won't be able to give us 2 flights a week, but what they might be able to do, and we're speaking to them, is they might be able to give us a larger plane to come in weekly for the month of July, some of June into July, we're hoping. So we'll see how that pans out.
The pressing need for security in the Internet of Things was the theme under which an Internet Governance Forum was held last Friday at the SVG Community College. The forum, which was hosted by the SVG chapter of the Internet Society, was held to share with the participants the importance of Internet security. Country manager of telecommunications company Flow, Wayne Hull, said that the use of Internet has reached its 3rd phase of digital evolution, which gives a high demand for people to be connected to the Internet. He said this is why it is important for data to be secured while using the Internet.
It is really clear that AI in conjunction with the Internet of Things and huge amount of data, you know, humans and businesses are becoming even more interfaced with the Internet and with machine. You know, this is the future and it's here to stay. And I think AI would further disrupt our lifestyle and the paradigm of how we live our lives in the future. And it even becomes more important for us to have protection of data and protection of access to the Internet as a result of that, you know. Otherwise, we'll have bad things happening. We have very bad actors on the Internet, and we have seen this already happening. For instance, we have seen hackers who hold people information at ransom, very large companies, very high network individuals, and even towns and cities. You have hackers who would go and take that information, their servers, their website, and do not release them until a ransom is paid.
Hull said many huge companies all over the world lose greatly because of hackers who wait to attack businesses and social media accounts via the internet.
One of the biggest breaches as well was with Yahoo in 2018. Yahoo suffered an attack on about 500 million users, right, where accounts were stolen, birthdays, and that has been one of the largest cyber attack on a single entity. And I even want to share this with you, even closer at home. I myself receive emails where persons impersonate, you know, my colleagues, they impersonate vendors, they impersonate customers, you know, and asking you to either click a link, you know, to either update something so that they can breach the integrity of all company data. All right. They even send like manufactured invoices, you know, so that you can send payments. So they're very bad actors on the internet, and who would go to extreme lengths, you know, to breach data.
Speaking on the government's plans for a modern city at Arnesville, Hull said such a development should be technology driven.
If I bring it closer to home too, and I think this is where we can kind of look at these things. We are trying to build a new city in Arnesville, and I think we as a country need to not miss this boat to sort of develop a city that is not compliant with the new or the future state of where technology is taking us. So I think the pause must that be, and I would suggest that the ISOC here in St. Vincent sort of interact or engage the government and developers to ensure that we're building a city that moving and is sort of future-proof across many generations. So for instance, a simple thing might be we should build that city without ensuring that every single transaction is done electronically. Yeah, it means that businesses or government offices, even our citizens, have to really adopt to the benefits of technology, and that is a simple one that can benefit us here in St. Vincent.
Invest SVG, in collaboration with Caribbean Export and Autumn Solution Incorporated, commenced a two-day energy auditing and management training workshop today. The workshop, being held at the Grenadines House, is to equip persons in small businesses with the skills and tools to effectively manage their energy efficiency activities and renewable energy opportunities. Chief Executive Officer of Autumn Solution Incorporated, Dr. Erwin Edwards, who is the main facilitator, said during the first day of the workshop he would be teaching participants how to save energy using data collections.
And then we're going to talk about data collection, because we want to make decisions based on data. You hear this all the time. Too long we make decisions based on how you feel. For example, you may see something on TV about saving energy, and you go home and you start turning off switches, and you start to harass your siblings and your children about leaving on this switch and that switch. At the end of the month, you really don't know what you've gained, except stressing out your children. So we're going to try to teach you how to collect real data, and how to use that data to make actual decisions. There was a system built by Caribbean Export earlier this year that is really intended to help you to self-assess. Many times you feel as though you need to call in an expert, and sometimes you do. It depends on what you're doing. But sometimes our businesses are simple enough. I'm not trying to belittle a business. All I'm saying is that it may not be complex in terms of energy. So there may be some things that you can undertake yourself with a little bit of training. So the system is there. We're going to spend the evening portion, once we finish with the morning boring stuff. We're going to spend the evening on the system actually doing something and seeing basically the kind of data you can get and how you can use it to make decisions.
Dr. Edwards said that on the second day of the workshop, participants will learn about how different tools and methodologies can help to save energy.
international standards, and then we're going to look at some specific technologies. This might be a little bit more exciting. I'm sure you hear about a lot of stuff. You hear about geothermal. Last night on my way from the airport, I was hearing about the equipment that's currently coming into St. Vincent that needs to be transported to drill. We're going to talk about what that technology is about and how it's going to work. We see windmills in some parts of the world. I don't know if you have any windmills here. You don't? Oh, we're good. And PV panels and solar, and you hear about all these things. We're going to talk about these technologies a bit. But we're going to look at some things that you can do in your home without investing millions. We're going to talk about some things that you can buy, again, to help you without spending millions. And then we're going to talk about some more significant things that will bring independence and security and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to get into technologies. And then in the evening, we're going to finish again by coming back to the system and showing you the kinds of reports and the kind of tables and graphs you can get out of your system and how you can use that then to select the most appropriate technologies which you would have heard about in the morning.
More than 100 persons braved the rains and hiked up to SOUFRIERE on Saturday, April 13th, the very day that SOUFRIERE erupted 40 years ago. The Leeward Trail was used to hike up to the volcano, which from reports was a challenge for many of the hikers. The hike, which started just before 9 a.m. on Saturday, was not ideal for hiking, as dark clouds blanketed the sky from the rainy conditions which lasted throughout the day. This annual event, organized by the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, and the Seismic Research Center, afforded persons the opportunity to experience SOUFRIERE. Deputy Director of NEMO, Kenson Stoddard, said this year's hike was different. However, he was pleased with the outcome.
To the SOUFRIERE volcano, this year we approached the volcano from the leeward side, Richmond. There were just about 114 persons, and everybody was able to successfully traverse the trail back up and down. So I would say it was a success, even though we had some difficulties given the inclement weather. Persons were still determined to get up to the volcano, and but it was, you know, the trail was a bit difficult to maneuver the trail, but in the end everybody is successfully back down, and we want to thank the persons who responded.
The hike is one of many activities planned for the month to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the last eruption of SOUFRIERE. In 1902, an explosive eruption killed just over 1,500 persons, and the last eruption in 1979 resulted in the evacuation of more than 20,000 persons from communities in the danger zone. The Forestry Department continues to appeal to members of the public to avoid the use of hazardous substances and other unsustainable methods to capture river lobster, crayfish, shrimp, fish, and other aquatic wildlife. SVG-TV's Bavin Oliver was in the field today with some forestry officers who were conducting their usual river patrols and fires this report.
Aquatic species such as crayfish and river lobsters are delicacies to many, and with the Easter weekend drawing closer, the demand for these species is expected to rise, with persons attempting to catch them by poisoning the water in which they live. As part of their efforts to protect these aquatic species, forestry officers have been carrying out regular river patrols across the country. Speaking from the waterfall area at Macme, which is near the community of Dixon, Law Compliance and Enforcement Officer with the Forestry Department, Bradford Latham, spoke about the harm river poisoning can cause to the environment.
On the community, farmers, all walks of life, for a long period of time. And the decomposing crustacean or fish that are aquatic life in the stream, it takes a while. Increases the bacterial load within it and the pathogen within the water. Animals will refuse to drink. Farmers, because there's this strong odor that will be coming from the river. And this practice destroys the old, the young, and We visited the stream today and we did our check in that area, which is normally rich with aquatic life and crayfish. We haven't seen any.
Further downstream, there were signs of life, with one Georgetown resident showing off his prize catch, which he says goes well in soup. Latham took the opportunity to illustrate the sustainable methods of catching crayfish.
As the use of a basket. The basket method, you could be able to be very selective. You could take the big ones and you could put back the smaller ones. The use of the hand method also. That is much more sustainable way you could able to capture. You're not going to overfish using that method also. There are persons who utilize the nets to catch the mullets. That technique is much more sustainable. You take the bigger ones and you can be able to replace the smaller ones so that we continue to have a future generation within the rivers and streams. So sustainable use of our aquatic life is what we are preaching.
He also highlighted why the quality of crayfish is remarkably higher compared to those caught with chemicals.
And you could see they're alive, they're kicking. And before he even ready to prepare them, they will be still alive. He could have them if he put some water within the bucket, they will stay. But if they were poisoned, even before he reached home, this species, especially crayfish, crustaceans, they start to deteriorate quite quickly, and that is bad for our health. As we have said before, we need to take into consideration what we put in our bodies.
The many rivers of SVG are also used as recreational sites, and the Forestry Department is also appealing for responsible use of these sites. For SVG-TV Evening News, I am Bavin Olver.
Trakisha Davis of the Argyle International Airport, the AIA, is the winner of the inaugural SVG National Corporate Public Speaking Championship. 5 competed in the finals held on Saturday. Massey Store's 2 representatives, Cavell King and Ayande Bramble, took the 2nd and 3rd place positions respectively. The top finalists all received monetary prizes. The finalists had to present a prepared speech on the topic, the role of social media in business. Another category of the competition was the impromptu speech, won by Cavell King of Massey Stores. 2nd place went to Trakisha Davis of AIA, and 3rd, Moise Cummings of RSVG Police Force. Minister of Education St. Clair Jimmy Prince was on hand to present prizes to the winners. The event was hosted by Toastmasters SVG and was open to all registered businesses in SVG. A man said to be mentally ill was shot by police in Canouan on Sunday and died. A release from the Police Public Relations Department said the police in Canouan responded to a report that Dale Dabrio was attacking residents on the southern Grenadine Island. Dabrio reportedly attacked the police with a knife and a cutlass. The police opened fire, injuring Dabrio. He was taken to the Canouan Health Center, where he was pronounced dead. In more police news, an investigation is said to be ongoing into a report of robbery made by a 23-year-old car park attendant of Kingston Park against an armed assailant. According to reports, the complainant, an employee of the Argyle International Airport's parking lot, was allegedly robbed of $800 in cash and 1 security pass by an unknown person armed with a gun. The incident reportedly occurred on Sunday at the Argyle International Airport. Police are soliciting the assistance of the public for any information that will assist in the swift prosecution of the person or persons involved in this matter. The police say persons willing to assist can divulge information to Officer in Charge at Caliacor at 1-784-458-4200 or the ACP in Charge of Crimes at 1-784-456-1339.